Hello there. If you haven't seen my previous video on this topic, you should really go back and watch it to understand what my goals are here. I'm creating a website called Caps Wiki for people to share information on how to repair electronic devices. This video is all about how the website works and how you can use it to document devices. First off, some technical information about the website. I built this using MediaWiki, which is the software behind Wikipedia. So if you've contributed there before, you're likely familiar with what using the site will be like. I had not done that before though, so I was going into this double blind by both learning how to use a site like this, as well as how to host one, which is a much less complete process than I expected. So a lot of my time has been spent setting up templates and frameworks for making contributing and organizing information as easy as possible. I have written some documentation on the site itself as well on how you can make new pages, but if you want to get a walkthrough of the process and hear some background thoughts on it, you can sit back and see it all here. At the high level, every device page should be put into at least 2 or 3 categories by the time it's finished. One that describes what kind of device it is, one for what decade it is from, and an optional one for relevant specialty categories for it. Devices can be searched for by these categories, making it easier to find information on something and research information about related devices. And specialty categories may add additional information to the page, like the CRT category adding a link to the CRT repair guide at the bottom of the info box. When working on a device page, you can add any category through the menu. If you have a device that doesn't have a category for it on the site yet, feel free to add a new one. This won't fully create a category as it will just link to a page that hasn't been set up yet. But you can either leave it like that for someone in the future to come finish up, or go ahead and create the new page for it as well. There are also 3 special work needed categories as well that should be added to devices depending on what information they are missing. These allow the pages to be marked as missing original part information, replacement part information, or general information. And when someone views the page, it notifies them at the top of the page that it is incomplete. Pages in these categories can also be found more easily by others who would like to clean them up or complete information in them through an editor's toolbox that I set up. Next, when it comes to creating a page for a new device, I've set up a bit of a workaround. Normally, pages are created by entering a URL that doesn't exist and editing it, which creates a new blank page. But that makes it a lot harder to document specific technical information like this. So instead, you should use the new page box available from either the home page or the new page guide, which will create a new page using a preload template that adds most of the features to the page you're likely going to need. This preload template can be viewed by clicking the link to the left of the input box for the page title. When you are creating a page, feel free to delete anything you don't need or don't have information for, like known issues or replacement parts. These can be brought back by simply copy-pasting them from the template page if they're needed later, and removing empty sections will make it easier to read. If you would like to have a deeper explanation of the sections of the template page, there is an example page with comments for each section that you can read through as well. When you're working on any page on the wiki, you'll likely encounter template objects. These are like widgets for the page that make it easier to structure and present information without needing to manually repeat a lot of work. There's a page that goes over the common templates I've made for the site if you want to look into them more. You can delete these when they aren't needed, as they can be brought back very easily, but you should leave the device alerts and info box templates on the device pages, as they are critical for how those pages are presented. Frustratingly, there doesn't seem to be any way of making templates for tables on MediaWiki websites. So I've had to create a separate page with common tables that you may want to copy and paste into the page. This means you are free to delete them if you have nothing to put in them and can get them back later when needed. Also, if you're putting information into a table and need to add a new measurement type or change the captions or headers, feel free to. The tables included in the preloaded page are just meant to cover more common cases, and they won't be right for all devices. Next, I want to mention file uploads and information sources. Pictures will likely be the largest cause of cost increases for the site, and also have the most potential to run into legal issues. Now, I want all the pictures that you can provide that will help users. Locations of blown caps, full circuit boards, screw locations, oscilloscope waveforms, and more are all examples of great things that could help people. The only real restriction I'm going to enforce for file uploads is when it comes to the legal rights to use them. Manuals, schematics, advertisements, EEPROM dumps, drivers, and anything else created by manufacturers cannot legally be used here because each of those have their own copyright that Caps Wiki would not be authorized to reproduce. So do not upload them here. This also goes for screenshotting other people's videos without permission. That won't be acceptable, and to be very clear, would not fall under fair use. If you contribute and run a YouTube channel, it would make moderation a lot easier if you'd put a note about that on your user page so that we can see that you have the right to use those videos. If you want to reference material in other videos or documents like that though, you can link to a YouTube video or manufacturer page on where to download them. If the files aren't available anymore from the manufacturers, you can link to copies of them hosted on archive.org if available, because that's more what they specialize in. Now, when it comes to actual information about a device, you have a lot more flexibility because factual information cannot be covered by copyright. This means if you reference a schematic or other sources to see what parts are in a device, you are clear to put that in the wiki. Just please remember that it is most helpful when there is enough information about them to be able to order them confidently. I think that's everything I've wanted to cover. I've put so much time and thought into this, and I feel like I'm forgetting a million little things. I do have a few final disjointed thoughts that might be helpful though. I've currently set up the site so you have to make an account to edit, but you don't have to give it your email address or anything. It's mostly just to prevent spam. Feel free to add more general educational pages and link to those on the homepage or create categories for them as needed. The same is true for specialty pages. Right now, there still needs to be some created for Dallas clocks and reefer capacitors that I can think of for sure. Keep in mind that this is a wiki and not a personal blog or project log site, and that someone may come by and edit a page you made, even for small things like grammar. It's not a slight on you or your writing, it's just the nature of this type of site. Also, it would be preferred not to write pages in the first person to make everything more generalized, but even I have messed that up in some places already. At the bottom of device pages, there is a section to add links. If you made a YouTube video about recapping something, you can absolutely link it there, since watching the process can be very helpful to people. Just keep in mind that this is not a place for self-promotion, so please don't make low effort or shell pages with nothing but a link to a video. I will remove them. On that note, you can link to websites that sell parts kits, though there is an irony in that since this site will likely cut into their business. But there must be some information on the parts on the page or I will consider it advertising and remove it. And I think that's everything I wanted to let you know about when it comes to working on the website. I encourage anyone to start documenting repairs I do on there. And if you have any questions or feedback on using the site, I would be more than happy to hear them and try to improve it. Caps Wiki is only getting started, and I'm very open to changing the site as it evolves to match what the users need. I've just done my best to set it up so we can hit the ground running. That's it for now though, and I'll see you next time.